Hello, I'm Sam. This is my channel. This is That Wikipedia List, and this is That Wikipedia List. September 3rd, 1967.
Sweden decides to switch from left to right. Swedish motorists, accustomed to left side of the road driving, join the growing trend throughout Europe to cross over to right side traffic flow.
That was a crazy day for Sweden. Prior to 1967, Sweden, much like many other European countries, drove on the left. Most countries in the world, in fact, began driving on the left because that's how carriages did it, and carriages did it that way because that's how horses did it. The rule started in the first place because back in the old days, most would brandish their sword on their right side. So when riding, they wanted to be able to respond to an oncoming attacker on the right side.
Yeah, sure, but if you are on the right side and they are on the left side, you're both gonna have to do it left-handed regardless. Now they're gonna get the fucking right-hand swing too.
Archaeological evidence proves that left-side riding was the norm throughout much of the ancient world. The shift to right-side riding came when freight wagons
I guess
got
if you
larger.
think you're better than your opponent, you should have it on you should be on the left side. And you wouldn't go to war unless you think you're gonna win, right?
As trade became more common, demand grew, so teamsters, the old term for wagon drivers,
It's mirrored, question mark. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you fucking idiot. So if you are on the right side, you're fucking, they're getting fucked as much as you're getting fucked, because they're gonna be on your left side, right?
started adding more and more horses to pull heavier and heavier
sometimes.
loads. There weren't seats on
Hello,
those wagons,
Mr.
so
Force.
teamsters just sat on
Here
a horse.
is a video about positive racism. Well, it's actually comedy and only 3 minutes long. Classic.
Slow down now. Stop the videos. I want to see him fall already.
Chose to sit on the back left horse so they could whip with their right hand, since the vast majority of people, especially at the time, were right-hand dominant. Therefore, the teamsters chose to ride on the right side of the road so that oncoming wagons could pass on their left, and they could clearly see that their wheels were clear. Fast forward 200 years, and 65% of the world's population drives on the right side of the road, which, as it turns out, is the worst side to drive on. You see, humans are naturally right-side dominant. As we know, the vast majority of the world's population is right-handed, about 90%, but the vast majority of the world is also right-eye dominant. Humans actually do have an eye that works better than the other. For about 70% of the world's population, that's the right eye. While driving on the left, the right eye will focus on oncoming traffic, while the left will see what's passing by. This may contribute to the slightly lower accident rate in left-side driving countries. Anyways, let's get back to Dagen H, the name for the day Sweden switched. In 1955, Sweden held a referendum on the issue of driving directionality, and a staggering 83% voted against changing the direction. The national legislator, known as the Riksdag, promptly responded by deciding to make the change. The rationale was that every single one of Sweden's neighbors drove on the right.
Wait,
the most
so
imported
when they
cars,
voted
which were the cheapest
83%
cars,
and they
were
still
designed
did
to be
it?
driven on the right. In the months leading up to Dagen H, every intersection
You're
was outfitted
here,
with an
sorry
extra
for
set
the
of signals
dono,
inside
but I want
wrapped in
to
black
say that
plastic.
September is
8,000
happening. I would gift you guys subs, but that means I would have to support Twitch. I'm a 5-year base. I'm not that retarded as to give money to Twitch anyway. 10 to the millionaire.
September. It's like 20% off gifted subs. and
buses were
subs.
retrofitted with new doors on the right side, and the rest were sold to Pakistan and Kenya. New lines were painted on the roads, then covered in black tape. Milk cartons and underwear with the day's logo were sold
Thank
in
you, sir.
stores around the country. Contests were held for songs about the change, then finally, on September 3rd, 1967, at 3 p.m., the law switched, and the entire
September 3rd?
country had one enormous traffic
shit,
jam
that's
as
the day.
drivers slowly inched across the white line to get to the new normal. No one died that day on Swedish roads. In fact, nobody died the day after as well. There were only 125 collisions compared to the average of 164. It seemed that the switch worked. However, by 1969, collision rates were back to normal. It turned out that the roads were only safer because drivers were more cautious.
Tokyo
gonna
Days
say
and Money
traffic
High
patterns.
Season 5
with
will
only
lock
somewhat-
Hudson. Eat Papel.
Forsen based, fuck you, chat.
I haven't seen any of those shows, so I guess.
Somewhat related
fucking
but
shit.
interesting tidbit. The Geneva Conventions have a treaty that outlines international rules of the road, including the rule that traffic directionality must be uniform throughout the same country. The vast majority of countries follow this rule with no problem. However, the good old US of A holds the territory of the US Virgin Islands, where all drivers drive on the left, and therefore the US is technically in violation of the Geneva Conventions, which, as the no longer existent country of Yugoslavia knows, is kind of a big deal. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to click subscribe to catch more episodes.